Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are. I am Cousin Cheeto, and we are now talking about the season finale of Lower Decks. This is also the highly logical podcast for this week because why not? I am joined by my usual convicts, Zamariner and Boogeyman 2132. Guys, how you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Hello.
Well, let's jump right into it. So this episode started off by we left off from last episode where Blemlord found out that Mariner was the captain's daughter. He was all freaked out and everything like that. So at the beginning of this episode, he really felt like that he can get away. He should be doing all the crazy stuff that Mariner's doing because he wants to impress the captain's daughter. I guess I was a little confused on this, but I mean, I guess it makes sense.
No, I think he actually evolved as a character. He showed you that he's chilling out a little bit, because he didn't come across as an incompetent dickhead in this one episode. There's the one episode where he was very competent throughout, and I think he showed a bit of his arc, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, at the same time, I think he was just kind of being like, well, I'm just gonna do what the captain's daughter does and hang around with her. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a necessary. I mean, he's still kind of the
Yeah.
brown nosing, advancement centered character,
He hasn't
but
got
I
a
mean, he
personality
just went about it in
change.
a different way because he knows now Mariner is the captain's daughter.
I mean, that was a pretty big theme of this whole entire episode. Because I mean, not only did you see it from him, but you saw it from, majority
Everyone.
of the command crew, and yeah, it just that was one of the big themes they had in this one.
Yeah, the Oscar thing was beautiful. Everyone sucking up to Mariner, and she couldn't handle it. And then she ended
Yeah.
up being a regular member of the crew, which was kind of cool. Only
Well,
for a
that's-
short period of time. They should have made a whole episode dedicated to that, personally. But
I mean, I think they should have done a couple episodes. I think she should have been outed as the captain's daughter like 2 episodes ago, and just she would have had to have adapted to that, and then leading up to the season finale where her mom had to then kind of come to terms with how her daughter is, and there is room in Starfleet for not only good officers but laxed officers as well.
yeah, exactly. I just want to say how excellent the writing was in this episode in particular. Absolutely phenomenal. Like we get we get that expendable starship earlier on in the show, and they get killed off and stuff, and then the Cerritos gets caught up by those same bad guys, and one of the things Captain Freeman
Hacklet.
says is that don't try to beam off. Remember what happened last time and stuff like that. And it just really shows you that she's a competent character. It's really making you understand that these guys are not all played for laughs here. There's more to them than just the jokes on the show. It's excellent writing, and there's more to it, and it's scattered throughout the show. I mean, some of the callbacks to the earlier episodes as well. It was just brilliant stuff. I'm very emotional actually when talking about this because I love Star Trek beyond belief. I fucking drink it, eat it, swim it. I love it so much. And as far as I'm concerned, in recent years, and when I say recent years, in the last 20 years, I think some of the Star Trek we've gotten has not been of the caliber of Star Trek that have adored, in my youth. This is the Star Trek. Even though it's different, it's a cartoon and it's played for laughs. In its essence, it's so much what Star Trek is, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm so emotional from it. This episode made me almost fucking cry. I loved it that
Oh,
much.
you're crying now. I can hear it.
Yeah, man, I'm very fucking emotional, and I I wear it right here, man. I love this. I love this so much. It brings me so much joy. Um, Everything about this. There's so much. This is not just Star Trek cartoon made for jokes. This is fucking Star Trek. That's what people who just saw it first and just dismissed it. Don't get. This is so much fucking Star Trek in every aspect. When it comes to the Easter eggs and the whole ethos of what it means to be fucking Star Trek. and I'm gonna miss it. I really am. I love it. I want to keep talking about more of the show, so I'll pass it on to someone else.
Well, Boogeyman, you got anything to contribute to Zam's emotional tribute there?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, so moving along in the episode, Blumler, of course, outs over comms. Blumler outs Mariner as the captain's daughter, and then that's when they beam him up to the bridge, and now everybody starts sucking up to Mariner because they think she's she is the captain's daughter. And this is the part of the show, and it's funny. Don't get me wrong. I liked it because it's funny. It didn't feel Trek, though. Like everybody, and I get it, it would happen in real life probably, but like it didn't feel Trek that all the officers, especially the command staff, would suck up to her because she is the captain's daughter. I feel like that in normal Trek that they would be like, okay, you're the captain's daughter, so what? Maybe the lower decks would treat her differently, but I don't feel like the command staff would treat her any differently. I mean, especially like a Riker type character, since we're going to get into him in a little bit. I feel like Riker would be harder on, like, let's say Picard had a son that's not Wesley. There's a theory for you. But I mean, I think a Riker type character would be harder on that character than easier or sucking up to them or anything like that. So I feel like this part of the episode, I didn't hate it. I thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong. I just felt like it was a little bit of a departure from Trek character, just because I feel like the bridge officers and stuff like that wouldn't have treated her differently. Now the lower decks people, and maybe even the mid card or mid rank people, I feel like they might have treated her a little bit differently. But like Ransom sucking up to her, and what was it, the chief engineer sucking up to her, and so I just don't feel like that would happen. That's just my opinion. As I said, I didn't think it was terrible. I just felt it was a departure from Trek. Okay,
I just like the way they used it for the sake of humor, though. It worked for me.
As I said, I didn't say it was bad. I just, it was definitely played for humor.
Yeah. And they got over that quickly as well. Sorry, Chris. They got over that very quickly as well. Sorry, Chris. I'll let you continue.
I think it matches the show perfectly, actually.
Yeah.
Because this isn't your typical ship. I mean, obviously. I mean, if you watch any of the old Star Treks, this is not your typical ship. The command structure is definitely not this. It makes perfect sense for this ship, for this crew, to react the way they did.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not gonna say anyone's wrong. I'm not even saying it was bad. I'm just saying, like, to me at this part, it felt like it was a departure from from how Trek would, like how a Starfleet ship would run. But you're right. It's a different crew. It's not your elite of elite like the Enterprise or, I don't know. I'm not going to say Voyager because Voyager was not elite.
I love Voyager.
Yeah. Well, I love DS9 and Enterprise, a show better than Voyager. Trust me. All right. So, guys, got anything else to add to this part of the show?
Regarding the earlier scenes, I mean, I did like that other starship, which was only around for a little while, with the captain who was so stuck up on things being clean that the Starfleet officers couldn't wear their shoes.
Yeah. That's the stuff that was played for laughs. It's just hilarious.
But it means that when they die, and these are cartoon characters who are actually dead. A whole bunch of them, hundreds of them. Yeah, like, we didn't give a fuck. It was like, okay, they're dead. Okay, interesting. But yeah, okay, let's see what goes on from here. And then immediately the Cerritos is involved in it.
Well, and then here's the thing: is that what class is it? Is it the California class? Is that what it is? I believe so.
The ship that they're flying?
Yeah, I think it's the California class. But I mean, we see a ton of those in this show, which is fine. But it's like I kind of was, and I know that we have seen other shows, like in this episode, the Titan. We've also, in one of the other episodes, we saw a different type, but we've seen a ton of California class. They're like the new Oberth class of
California.
Yeah, they're the new Oberth class, like this generation's Oberth class. Like they're just everywhere, and I mean they're not like armed to the teeth. They're more science or maintenance vessels and stuff like that. I want to see California class in live action in the coming up here. I want to see him in Picard. I want to see a I don't care if it's in the background. I want to see a California class because we have never seen a California class on live action screen. I want to see those Miranda class looking bastards flying and destroying stuff.
I actually have to watch that part of the episode again because I just don't recall anything about the ship other than it being destroyed.
It was California class. It was the exact.
I'll watch it
exactly the same as the Cerritos.
Well, they were just there for a plot device, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the Cerritos goes and checks, and yeah, it was interesting their involvement. And then, as I said, we got the good writing. And by that time, obviously, what's her face? Mariner's obviously converted to a regular Starfleet officer, only for a brief period. And when they get into shit, this is what I said with the fantastic writing. You know, Freeman again tells, okay, all right, we need a half-baked solution and all this shit to get us the fuck out of here. And, you know, telling Mariner this, and then she rolls up her sleeves and pulls down her hair and like, yeah, okay, let's go. And just fantastic. I fucking love it. You know, and then getting Rutherford. Oh, by the way, Rutherford, him and his fucking personality changes. Shit, that was interesting, and it came into play as well. You know,
I mean, it was okay. I that was kind of. I mean, I didn't hate it. It didn't really stick to me that much in this episode.
No, but I like the way how it works. Like, you know, like someone like Tindy, like she knows she's very. Her and Rutherford are very like much, you know, two birds of a feather when it comes to their optimism, but she understands that he's going through all this shit. So instead of being pissed off about it, she just goes with it. Okay, he's got a bad mood. Personality, okay, that's great, you know, and that's how, I love it. You know, it's really well done. It doesn't go for the tropes. It doesn't go for the tropes like that fucking alien robot, that floating robot having to save the day. No, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. It doesn't go for the tropes. I love it so much. Brilliant stuff.
Boogeyman, you got anything to add?
No.
Okay. Okay, so we kind of jumped around a little bit. I think the next... Okay, so the Cerritos shows up, and they take on... And the Pac-Leds show up and, you know, start to try to pull their ship apart. And the Pac-Led are this, like, old... You know, they're this old... you know, the old joke of a race, and I think it's Next Gen. I don't think they're...
I had to look them up, but I totally forgot about them. Honestly.
I mean, they're kind of like...
I didn't know about the jokes thing. I didn't know about them being the butt of jokes, but I just had to look them up again.
I mean, they're like... I mean, maybe they're not the butt of the joke, but they're like Neelix's race. Like, they're just kind of misunderstood and just kind of... You know, they were portrayed very well in this episode. So I love a lot of the action in this episode because it was just very well done, I feel like. I don't know. Do you guys have it? I mean, you know, it's just a typical action sequence, and you know, the ship's getting ripped apart, and they rip the nacelles off of there, and you know,
they're more powerful than the Enterprise.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're just obsessed with the Enterprise. That was great.
I mean, what I liked as well, like this wasn't a Boyman has been quite centric to a lot of the episodes, but this really wasn't his episode at all until maybe the end, and we'll go about that a bit later, but. Like I said, you know, he never showed any incompetence throughout all of these scenes. He's grown a little bit, and even when they were in the fights and stuff, he you know, they never showed him like shitting himself. He's there fencing along and all that sort of stuff. When it comes to the fights, he's involved in it. You know, they got bat lifts, they got fucking God knows what. You know, Ransom's just got his fists. I love it.
Double action
and stuff like that. And you know, so just going on about people like Ransom and stuff, you know, like very early on in this show, they were kind of shown to be quite shallow, but there is more to them than meets the eye. But at the same time, it goes to show that they would kiss Mariner's ass now that they know that her mum's the fucking captain, because some of these characters only think about their careers, and Boimler is one of the more prime examples of them as well. But yeah, sorry, I'm going on the tangent here, but I did like some of that. I love the way they were fighting for each other, and then Rutherford having to come up with a virus. Well, that's the only way to deal with them.
Yeah, and then Badgie comes back.
Yeah, and Badgie's back as well and shit like that.
He's like, you'll have to turn off my safeties. And then they're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Rutherford is just, oh gosh. I mean, I love Rutherford. He's awesome. Okay, so, I mean, Badgie creates a virus, and then he tries to kill everybody again. and then I'm trying. You guys might have to keep me on the straight and narrow here. I've only watched it the once, but I did really enjoy it. Just had a busy weekend. So
they had to go on. They had to get on the ship eventually because that was the
yeah,
only way to put
and
the
that's
virus
when
on it.
and that's when the Bajoran security
Shanks.
officer Shanks
Shax. Sorry,
Shax.
Shax. I think. Yeah, Shax.
That's when Shax had to just basically drag Rutherford all the way onto the ship, and he was fighting people off, and Rutherford.
This is the best day of my life. I loved it. I loved it so much. He's like so fucking up. I'm so happy he got what he wanted. That was the greatest thing about it. But go on, continue.
And then it was kind of surprising that they did that with him. Like they kind of they kind of ended because in the end, as this is spoilers, but in the end, he rips. Rutherford said that. What was it that Rutherford has to? That Badgie said that Rutherford had to die or something like that.
No. What it was, Badgie is still fucking crazy, and they were using his virus to damage the ship or destroy the ship they were on, but Badgie then decided to put it on explode, so they all had to die. They're all going to die on the ship. So the only way for Rutherford to escape was by Shanks throwing him into the ship and holding off the bad guys.
And he also had to rip out his implant, like on the side of his head.
He had to rip out his implant as well because he was stuck to it. He couldn't remove it and stuff like that. He couldn't stop it. And so, like, Shanks just did what Shanks did. Shax did what Shax did and
sacrificed,
yoinked it and
and ripped it out and then threw Rutherford in there, and he laughed right to the he laughed right to his death, and he finished. Oh man, I mean, I almost wish he was a Klingon the way he went out.
Well, Bajorans and Klingons have always had those parallels of even Kira, Kira on DS9 was very Klingon-esque, like just the way she was very assertive and she just didn't take no shit from nobody. And then she'd rather fight somebody than.
That's cool, and I'm totally fine with Bajoran badass. I'm totally fine with it, but that really fucking hit me hard. Like when Shax died, I was blown away by it. I couldn't fucking believe it. I almost wanted to start fucking crying.
You actually learned his name, which is surprising. I mean,
like there are secondary characters. There was remember in Discovery that fucking droid chick when she.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit about her dying.
I didn't give a fuck about her, but Shax's dying, and he's just a secondary character himself, and I couldn't believe it. Tasha, they were saying, I was reading some comments on social media about this. Tasha Yar had 20 fucking hours on TNG. 20 hours, and no one gave a fuck that she died. No, I didn't give a fuck. I was kind of surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't, emotional about it. Shax's dying. I'm going to miss that guy, man. I'm going to miss him so bloody much. He was a brilliant character, and, credit to this show for fucking making me feel like this. Because they've done a good job. They really have. Chris, what about yourself? How do you feel about Shax's death?
I mean, it was kind of shocking. I figured he was probably going to be one of the main characters one of the main bridge crew characters in this show for a long time. But then, just all of a sudden, at the end there, he dies, and it's just well, shit.
Well, and I love the way they treated it with this is going to sound weird, but they respected it. It was, even at his funeral scene, they were they were like, he's with the pro. They didn't play it for laughs. They were like, our friend has died. He is with the prophets. He's probably had probably headbutting somebody when he got up there. So I don't remember. They made some kind, but it's they totally respected the character too. They didn't just go, well, there's one of them comedic characters that died. Oh well.
Even Freeman as well. Captain Freeman said this guy's gonna be hard to replace.
Oh yeah. I honestly thought he was good. I honestly thought she was gonna make Mariner her.
Honestly, I'm in the same point. I kind of when they first started getting into that scene, I'm just
is she gonna make Mariner the chief of security?
Right.
I thought she was going to promote her and make her chief of security because of look how the episode went. I mean, they survived that whole assault because of her. So it's I almost
and also because we kind of jumped ahead a little bit. My bad though on that. Because more of these ships come along, to take on the Cerritos after they take out the main ship, which was fucking with them, and then lo and behold, fucking the Titan, the first time we see it on screen, and it's in the cartoon form, comes along and saves the day, and Riker's there, and he's doing his Riker shit, and he's like showing Ransom. He's showing Ransom. This is how it's done, my son. And I'm the original fucking Ransom here, motherfucker. And Troy's just looking at him like, oh, he's fucking doing his thing, isn't he? You know what I mean? And he just comes in and saves the day, blows the shit out of everyone. You can see the Titan look. When you call your fucking starship the Titan, you've got to be a badass looking ship. A powerful ship as well, and just took care of everybody and saved the day, and it was fantastic. And it's been confirmed. I mentioned this earlier. It's been confirmed. Jonathan Frakes has been on the most Star Trek shows out of all the characters.
6.
All these Star Trek characters out there, he's been on the most shows. I mean, Thomas Riker is a bit of a stretch, but theoretically it's still Will Riker. So he's been on the most shows.
No, technically, I mean, Will Riker has been on the most, because Will Riker was on DS9 at points. They were just brief cameos.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was Will Riker. Now Thomas Riker also made appearances on
DS9.
I mean, he was on DS9. I think that was his last appearance.
Will never made an appearance. He's been mentioned in DS9, but Riker never made an appearance.
Yeah.
It was Thomas Riker that actually made the appearance. I actually just read something right before we got started.
You made me doubt myself for a second, because I thought maybe Will Riker.
Yeah, Will Riker been in. Will Riker and Deanna Troi have both been in five separate series. Thomas Riker was in DS9. So Jonathan Frakes was overall in 6 different.
Yeah.
Because I literally just read the small article about it right before we started.
Yeah, but I still count that as a Will Riker, because it is Will Riker, but a different version of Will
technically.
Riker.
But I could have sworn that
no, he was always mentioned. He never actually made Will Riker never actually made an appearance. So
I thought
I'm glad you said that, Chris, because
I know. You know what I'm thinking of?
Making me doubt myself.
You know what I'm thinking of? Riker on TNG. Riker messaged Quark. That might be what I'm thinking of. But that was on TNG.
Yep.
Now Riker needs to figure out a way before Jonathan Frakes gets too old. He needs to do a fucking other, troubles with triple sort of shit, so he can get his ass on the fucking on an original series episode, because DS9 have got him there. But nevertheless, yeah, it was good to see him. Honestly, I couldn't tell it was those were the real voices of them. I thought somebody else was playing their voices, because it didn't sound like them. Did it sound like them to you? It didn't sound like them to me.
Deanna Troi definitely. Riker, maybe the first couple seconds, I'm like, is that him? But
what the hell? Is that Jonathan Frakes? Is that Mirror Sisters? What? I couldn't tell. Even if it wasn't, I was just happy to see their characters there. They just great joy, fan service, Easter eggs, you fucking name it. I fucking love it.
Well, we'll get into that though, because here's the thing. I think that. So let's finish up the episode. So Titan comes in, Riker's there. He puts Ransom in his place, and then they defeat the Pac-Led. And then after that, they're kind of celebrating at the party, insinuating Riker knows Mariner, from before, which everybody apparently knows Mariner. So the end of the episode, though, is kind of the plot twisty-ish moment. Blumler gets a promotion. He is now a lieutenant. And he is now assigned to the Titan. So does that mean we're getting more voiced Will Riker next season? Because now Blumler is on the Titan. I feel like we're going to get, at least in the first couple episodes of season 2, I feel like we're going to get more Jonathan Frakes as Will Riker in animated form, which I'm 100% okay with.
I'm not actually sure, because at the same time you've got to, like, we're talking about an established Star Trek character now. Yeah, you can't caricature him that much, or you're going to get away from who he is. And this is supposed to,
No, I feel like this is the only way they can do it nowadays because he's so old now. I mean,
No,
like
I
I know,
understand that, but you then do it like how it was in the 70s with that animated show where they will still keeping it real. But this is without doubt, a stretch on like this is like a this is I can't think of the right word. I don't want to say a parody and stuff like that. That's the wrong word right now. But this is like I say, a caricature of who he is. It's then it's going to depart to what we think Will Riker is, and a lot of people are going to be picking bones on that shit. I personally am really surprised that Boimler's ended up on the fucking Titan because I thought it was about these four characters. Now, if one of them is gone, who's the focus point? Is it Mariner or Boimler, or both of them going to be
Eh,
jumping between the ships? I have no fucking idea.
I don't think that's going to last more than an episode in the next season.
And that's going to be a bad move then, because that's a cop out in my opinion if they do that. At the same time, they need to. I really think they need to stick with this. They shouldn't back down. But they need to stick with this and somehow make it work, because I've seen scenarios where they set it up for a massive change and things are going to be different, but then it ends up being the same again. It's a bit like watching Smallville. One of the things that made me lose interest with Smallville was that every time you watch a season finale, it looks like this is the season where he's going to finally be fucking Superman, and it's not. He's still
yeah,
fucking.
well,
It's
fuck
not. It's not.
Smallville.
It kept stretching. And I just don't want them to do that with this. Like, if he's going to be on the Titan, stay on the fucking Titan and make it work. But we need to have all four of the core characters of Lower Deck still involved. I don't want to
Well,
lose
that
any
was
of
that
them.
was my idea for the Starfleet Academy show. Was kind of like them starting the first season together, and then them start to kind of branch off, like and do their own thing as they rank up. But I mean, So a quick question. Um, why on the Cerritos do they have the like solid colored uniforms like TNG, but yet on the Titan they have the gray unit like the gray top uniforms? Is
Huh. I didn't
I
think of
never.
that.
I
I
why?
Or no,
I,
just because certain people have uniforms have changed, and maybe some people don't have an opportunity to change the uniform, but they're too busy they're on the other side of the fucking universe, and they haven't had the chance to
or
change their uniforms yet.
or is it just because how DS9 originally had the DS9 had the tops that were
Yeah.
colored. Maybe it's a function thing. Like maybe since the Cerritos is more of uh,
Oh,
a maintenance vessel, I don't know, an ancillary vessel. Maybe since they're more of an ancillary vessel, maybe that's why their
yeah.
uniforms are different, and then like more command vessels and like
Oh,
are
I
they?
just realized as well though, Bob, is that if the uniforms do change, actually all the ships can change their uniform at the same time because they can just replicate one just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
only reason why Voyager didn't is because they said it was a waste of resources to change. Because I think somebody mentioned something about the uniforms, and they said it was a waste of resources because
yeah,
they're in the
yeah,
middle of nowhere anyway, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't mind though. I don't mind that. Yeah, I noticed that and stuff like that, but I didn't question it. I noticed it, but I didn't question it. But I thought to myself, what's the point?
Hmm.
Oh,
So
they haven't.
Gemini just says they haven't switched over yet. Wait, I kind of disagree with that, Gemini. I'm sorry. Like I think there's a purpose behind it, just like with DS9 and like I think the ancillary vessels and stuff like that. I think they have more of the solid color traditional, and then more of the front lines militaristic episodes ships like the militaristic ships more have the gray ones. I don't know why. Don't get me wrong. I can't give you a good reason why they would do that. I'm all for uniformity and all their uniforms being the same. But who knows? I'm not a military person either, so that there's probably a reason behind it. I mean, maybe it's kind of like the difference in like the Navy versus the Army, or even like the Army versus the National Guard. I don't know. Like they might, you know.
I agree with you there because Boimler did change his uniform.
Hmm. He did.
Yeah,
When he went
he
over to the
did.
Titan, he did. And
He
then
did.
what's her face
Yeah.
still had her uniform on.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I mean, there's something there, but it can be expanded on honestly, like those are the sort of differences where they can explain in a couple of sentences quite easily.
Oh yeah,
You know,
and here's my thing. I think here's one of the reasons why I think when they chose those uniforms for lower decks, because they're more colorful. Like that's the practical reason, like for a show, because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
more colorful. It's a cartoon. I feel like that's the reason why. But now, but if we're trying to give like an in-universe explanation, I don't, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, they probably, knowing them, they'll probably just never explain it, and they'll just let the beta canon make it up.
so I just thought of something, and it's a different show, but Picard. Think of when Riker made an appearance on there. He had the gray top.
No, he had a different. It wasn't a great top, because keep in mind that this show, Lower Decks, takes place right around the time of Nemesis. Well, right after Nemesis, because Riker's obviously on the Titan. At least as far as I know, it's not long after Nemesis. I know that. It's not in Picard time.
It's set 9 years apparently.
Oh no, you
after
are right.
Nemesis.
You're looking at a picture.
9 years after Nemesis? I didn't even think it was that long after Nemesis.
Yeah, apparently I think so. Don't take my word for it, but that's something which came to my mind. I don't know where I got that information from.
I'm looking.
We're talking about Lower Decks.
They need Lower Decks. They need Predator flag. Is that how you say it? Or what is that?
Let's see. Lower Decks happens in 2280, 1 year after Nemesis, and 5 years before the earliest flashback in Star Trek Picard. At the beginning of Star Trek Nemesis in the year 2379, and Riker and Trio are in the process of getting transferred off the Enterprise to the Titan.
Oh, that's what I thought. I knew it wasn't that long after Nemesis. I knew it was 10 years.
By the way, Nemesis. Lower Decks is canon. By the way,
I call it loose canon. I don't.
I know what you mean.
I mean, like I don't take.
I love the fact that it's canon.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, as I said, I love the show. Don't get me wrong, but I take it as loose canon. Like I don't know.
Now people can get killed on it. I mean, you realize that it's just not a stupid cartoon and it was never a stupid cartoon, but it wasn't just like a regular cartoon when people die, and when you got stakes on the line and stuff like that, like when Captain Freeman got injured, and that was
I thought she was honestly gonna die.
Yeah,
like, I honestly did. I thought she was gonna die, and I thought Ransom was gonna become captain. And thought
Shax just grabs her like, yeah, fucking takes her to the fucking sick bay and shit.
I know.
I saw the fucking cat doctor whose name I haven't forgotten. Who's Tiana? Is it? I don't know.
No, I don't. That one, the command crew I haven't memorized yet. I mean, I know Ransom, and I know Freeman, but and Shax I can't remember him.
It's really them three. It's really Freeman, Ransom, and Shax, because there's been a couple of other.
No, the cat doctor's in there a lot.
Oh yeah, sorry, the cat doctor. I apologize. Cat doctor.
Those four.
Yeah, those four. But then there's been like a couple of mustachio guys. One of them with hair, one of them without. And I've seen them in 1 or 2 episodes, and that's about it. Yeah. I don't know where Bob's gone. Okay.
I look up and
walks off. So okay, I'll take over from here. So we're on to season 2 now. It has been greenlit apparently. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that.
Yep, I did hear that. I haven't heard any details about it. Obviously, Blumler's going to be on the Titan, which honestly I like. And as I said, I know you're not exactly thrilled about Riker being in season 2, but I'm actually excited to see more Riker. And honestly, I like comedy Riker. That's why I say that this is loose canon, because I like the fact that we're going to get a human, because Jonathan Frakes is a funny guy. And I kind of love the fact that he can kind of stretch those legs, and anything is that's why I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, John Riker would never do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. If
it's loose canon, I'm kind of like, whatever. It's Riker being funny. I don't care.
So but I like. Sorry, Chris. I like I just want to quickly say that I like the part where they use the fact that how he sets himself off is by using jazz, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2. 3.
Yeah, it's warp factor 5, 6, 7, 8. And then Deanna's like, oh God, not jazz. I was like, oh, that's so great. I love it.
So quick little back end thing about Jonathan Frakes. He wasn't actually supposed to voice the character of Riker in this episode.
Really?
Really, but I guess Jonathan Frakes had met the creator or the director for Lower Decks somewhere, and they had switched it up to where he was involved in it.
That's stupid. That I would almost much rather them not have him in the episode. If Jonathan Frakes isn't doing it, I don't want him on. Like I don't want William Riker on it.
Well, and that's the thing is that he wasn't originally casted to play the voice of Riker. But Riker wanted Jonathan Frakes wanted involved with it.
Absolutely, because he's one of the best.
He's royalty, man.
And I remember there being an interview with Jonathan Frakes, and like a long time ago that anything Star Trek he would love he would be, if asked, be involved in a heartbeat.
Smart man.
And he really regrets not directing Nemesis, which a lot of us regret him not directing Nemesis. And I lost my train of thought. But like, he's really involved with Discovery and Picard. He directed a lot of those episodes. Well,
he'll be in Discovery, by the way. Guarantee it.
Say that again.
Guarantee it. He'll be in Discovery. Guarantee it at some point.
He's dead.
No, the time travel, for fuck's sake, man. He'll be in Discovery.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, somehow. Maybe on a holiday.
I don't want Jonathan Frakes on Discovery. I mean, I know, like, we want him on every.
How about show. Jonathan? No, maybe not Riker, but Jonathan Frakes. Maybe make him look like a Klingon or something.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, I could definitely see. I could definitely see him doing a character appearance as something else.
Yeah, that would be great. I would definitely love that because I love the actor who plays Wayun on DS9. He like shows up on Voyager. He shows up on Next Gen. He shows up. I mean, yeah.
But I think Jonathan Frakes needs to keep this trend up, in my opinion. He
is now the Stanley of.
Yeah, he needs to keep this trend up because apart from the original series, he's been in everything. So he needs to fucking keep this trend up.
And honestly, I would consider it canon if they ever did do like a short where he went back in time and he like did. I don't care. I don't care how they do it. I don't care if they fly a Klingon ship around the sun and he meets Spock or something, like the first officer. I don't care.
Put him in there.
Yeah, they can just do it like they did with Trials and Tribulations Trials and Tribulations from DS9. Just do it. I don't care. But yeah, no, he is Star Trek royalty. He is, in my opinion, Jonathan Frakes is the Stanley of even in a creative sense, because he has directed so many episodes of TNG, Voyager. I don't know if he did DS9. He might have done one or two. But he's like, as a director, he's done like almost every single series and shown up on every single series. And although the series finale of Enterprise was garbage, he was still there. And I mean,
he's a smart man too. A lot of these Star Trek actors need to keep themselves in the Star Trek bubble as much as possible because that's your fucking meal ticket. I mean, not many actors are lucky enough to be established with a mainstream character, whether it be fucking Indiana Jones for fucking Harrison Ford or fucking Ensign Kim for Walter Wang or what his fucking name was. Whatever that fucking actor's name was, I probably ruined that. Got his name totally wrong, but you know what I'm saying. But at least people know you as him. Yeah, be involved in Star Trek as much as possible as him. Keep your legacy going as that character. Keep that character's legacy going. The way Riker has done with fucking, the way Jonathan Frakes has done with Riker. Compared to some of the other Star Trek characters, they're never going to be as well recognized as him. He's done the right thing. He's such a smart man doing this. You keep your fucking legacy going, man. Be involved in everything. People love this guy. I want more. I want more. When you see fucking Geordie LaForge in certain episodes of which are not TNG. When you see fucking Catherine Janeway in fucking
Nemesis.
Was it First Contact?
No, Nemesis.
Was it Nemesis?
It was Nemesis. That was after Voyager got home.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Janeway was in.
She was Admiral Janeway, and she had
Admiral Janeway.
Oh, you're
and
right.
Rightfully so.
By the way, go ahead and finish. But I have another.
Yeah, and rightfully so. And she's rightfully so that she should be a fucking admiral after what she fucking did. you know. And so
she should also be court-martialed for some of the stuff she did. But
yeah, exactly.
That's a podcast for another day.
I know for sure. I guarantee you. I totally agree with you. But so just as I was saying, I want to see more of these crossovers. There's so much shit. A lot of these guys are still around. They'll love the fucking work. You see Tuvok in certain shit. Bring these motherfuckers back in every way possible. I want to see them all.
Well, and here's the thing: is that and Chris, I know you were going to jump in, but
no, you're good.
Okay,
mine's a little off topic.
Oh, okay, but like, the Star Trek was doing the crossover stuff before Marvel was. Like, obviously on a smaller scale, but like, Star Trek was the first cinematic universe that like had crossover. I'm not going to say Star Wars because Star Wars was only 3 movies and a Christmas special, maybe some cartoons. But like Star Trek was the first show that started doing like even the crossover episodes when Deep Space Nine was starting. Remember that like they were all on each other's shows and the first couple episodes. I mean, O'Brien, for God's sake, went from the Enterprise.
Yeah.
That was one of the smartest moves they ever did because O'Brien is one of the best freaking characters on that show. I mean, and they didn't have room for him on Star Trek TNG. One of the best moves they did was upgrade him to main cast on DS9. So it's just like, you got to give Star Trek a lot of credit because they're the ones who started the cinematic / television universe where you had all these crossovers going on. And they were little bits, but even
then, like Star Trek, there's no other show out there that has done what Star Trek has done.
Oh yeah,
between the crossovers, the multiple TV
massive
shows,
universe.
The massive universe. Like not even like Star Wars, big thing, but still has yet to catch up to Star Trek as far as cinematic universe goes.
Oh yeah, I mean they've had technically Star Wars has had 9, 10, 11, like 12 movies, 12 theatrical movies.
If you include the Christmas shit as well and all that. Ewok movie. The Ewok movie as well, they are technically Star Wars. But yeah, go on.
But they don't have the they don't have the crossover from show to movie to another show to another show to
a crossover. Worf was in every TNG movie. Like, I mean
there's another guy who's crossed over as well, but every film, every fucking show, same universe, Even the multiverse with the fucking Kelvin and shit, it's all the same fucking universe.
Yeah, they link together.
It's amazing. What they've got hundreds of episodes. It's dozens of fucking, well, not dozens, like many movies. Over 12. It's amazing what they've achieved. It doesn't get the recognition that it deserves as well, and it's factored into our society as well. Things like the phones we use and shit like that. Some of the ideas were created initially through Star Trek. It's just amazing what this shit has done. Like the first interracial kiss, Star Trek. The ideas of, people working to better themselves. Because, no one's going to starve in this universe. We all work to better ourselves too. Because it's not about, inherent wealth for everyone. I love all this shit. It's amazing. If this shit was made today, it'll be looked upon as liberal propaganda. It's fucking crazy. But
really, Gene Roddenberry's original vision was for mankind to just better itself. And that's and honestly, that's what brought me to it growing up. I mean, my dad introduced me and Boogeyman to it, and it's just like I've loved it ever since. I mean, I like Star Wars, but I mean, Trek has always been my thing. Wars is good, but Trek is better in my opinion.
Before I lose my thought, this is what I loved about this show as well, because usually when it comes to space, it's not about the exploration. I mean, exploration plays its part, but usually then you end up getting the guns and the lasers out and you fucking bang, bing, 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 bing. There was tons of episodes of Star Trek where not a fucking single shot was fired. You know what I mean? And that's what I loved about it. It was exploration. It was understanding, discovery. It brought a different element to science fiction, exploring. I love it.
I don't mind the action. Like one of my favorite parts of Star Trek one of my favorite parts of Star Trek was the Dominion War. But here's the thing: is that it showed the way they went about it with the Dominion War is that they showed how Starfleet would handle a losing scenario because they were losing. You know, like, and I mean, when that utopian future is challenged, how does Starfleet respond? And honestly, it's a very human answer. They do whatever. There are factions in every race that are willing to do whatever it takes to preserve their culture. And I mean, even though you can still have action in that kind of situation. I mean,
but
go ahead.
Sorry. No, I
go
was
ahead.
saying though, but what then gets me back to Lower Decks again is that all of those things I said earlier about exploration, discovery, and stuff like that. This show was a lot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Enterprise, it pretty much started with Klingons attacking them and shit like that. A big laser from outer space. It almost started off with a fucking conflict. Discovery is more of a personal show about a particular character than discovering shit, and Lower Decks is the heart and soul of what made Star Trek in the first place. And yes, you all have your action. We all want a bit of Star Trek action. I love Star Trek action, but
Mm-hmm.
if you flood a show with Star Trek action and you don't show the other elements of Star Trek action, then you're not Star Trek. You're just a fucking action
Star Wars
show.
wannabe at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I want the action to be involved as well as not be involved. It has its place at times. Sorry, I'm beeping like a motherfucker.
That's because Block is blowing us up. Who doesn't join any of these podcasts, you little bitch. All right, so nice. I guess since I'm hosting, I'll bring this around.
Yeah.
Boogeyman, did you have? I should do this. Boogeyman, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? I know you were trying to bring something up earlier. Did you get a chance to bring it up?
No. So the one off-topic thing that I did read about recently. It involves Picard. Janeway will be making an appearance. She has signed.
Lovely.
What is it? An impartial contract to where she can be in one or multiple episodes as Janeway.
Well, that's good. I mean, and that's another crossover right there. 7 of 9 on Picard. Like
the whole show's a fucking crossover.
Well, but what two characters have that much in common than 7 of 9 and Picard that had never crossed paths before?
It's very genius. Genius.
Yeah, I mean, when I first heard 7 of 9 was going to be on Picard, I'm like, and I didn't even realize, I'm like, oh my God, like, there's so much there now. And I kind of wish she had more time on Picard. I thought she was going to be like in like a lot of the episodes where really she was kind of in like 3 maybe. But it's like, those are two characters that have a lot to relate to. And I think she was on the ship at the end of the first season, so she'll probably be sticking around. But those are two characters that just have so much that they can relate to, and just I don't know. I don't know.
Personally, I think they might. I think sometimes I wish with the Picard show, they instead of having this fucking MacGuffin with this twin chick, they should have just made it about maybe one last hurrah for Captain Picard, go gallivanting, grab 7 of 9. Yeah, let's go together. We know what it's like to be Borg who have become human again, and then fucking go around, do some last space adventure shit, maybe save the Earth again, like fucking like the old Enterprise crew did in Star Trek 4, some sort of shit like that. You know what I mean?
I feel like they could have done I agree with you. Yeah. I think they could have more done like what's it called? There was a show that was on back years ago. It's called The Philanthropist. And it was just about this millionaire who was going around helping these people that, like all these countries and stuff that just had nothing. And he would go around and he would be, and I think honestly, like that's Picard's jam. Like, I feel like, yeah, you're right. He would have grabbed 7 of 9, or at least they would have crossed paths for some reason. And just
get fucking Geordie LaForge. He would have fucking joined in a heartbeat. Getting Data back as well. Yeah, man. He would have been there in a heartbeat, man.
But they would have gone around and been like, they're like, hey, this planet, like, oh, we received a distress call from this planet, but it's too far out for the Federation to get anybody there, in a timely manner. And then Picard's like, well, let's go. Like he just has his independent crew, and they just go around and they just. But I think Geordi's a captain now. I don't think he can just leave and go.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He is a captain. Yeah.
I think he became. Wasn't it an admiral?
He might have been. I don't know. I know there's Captain War. They've mentioned Captain Worf and Captain. I thought it was Captain LaForge, but he might be an
A lot
admiral.
of engineers end up being admirals, man. It's quite a common thing. But the command crew never fucking live long enough. So
Yeah, right. Those fucking rectors.
Yeah, I think LaForge became an admiral at some point in one of the series. I forget what it is, but yeah, I remember there being mention of him being an admiral.
Okay, so let's just wrap this up.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, is that a Boogeyman with the?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up about Janeway making an appearance on Picard. I saw that last week.
That was
I mean,
interesting.
that'll be interesting. I mean, and especially if 7 of 9's a part of the crew, that'll be interesting to see their interaction again after so many years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be.
All right, well, boys, I think we did it. I think we won Star Trek today.
I love it. I love it. I want more. I want more Lower Decks. I want it immediately, and I want this caliber and this level of Star Trek in the future when it comes to future shows. If you give us what we wanted in the past, in the present, it will be appreciated. Look at the Orville, for fuck's sake.
Well, and that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Strange New Worlds is going to be. Like, I'm
Yeah.
hoping Strange New Worlds is going to be. I mean, I know it's TOS era, but
my only concern is that is it an era where shit's already been discovered because we know what's ahead of them, if you know what I mean. And that's my only concern with that. I would like something maybe more in the TNG Voyager era timeline, the Lower Decks.
I agree. I agree with you. I like the actor who played Pike. I really do. I want to see more with Pike.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
I really like that actor. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I wish it wasn't TOS era, but I just like that actor of Pike so much that I was like, all right, I'll take it. I mean, if they're gonna give it to me, I'll take a season of it. We'll see what happens from there. Let's just send them to the future too. We'll just send everybody in the Discovery era to the future.
Well, they have to cross. I hope they cross over at some point. But that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Gemini is asking, are kitties small and on the ball or knowing it all?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I don't know. On that note, we are wrapping this bad boy. So, without further ado, Zamariner, thank you for joining us. Boogeyman, of course, thank you for joining us. Everyone live long and prosper, and just